Okay, so we have some more quotes to get through today. And I think we're just going to kind of hop into it. I haven't really since yesterday improved the gamification rules of what's happening here, but I have picked up some tips and tricks I think from yesterday to make the experience feel a little bit more fluid. Which is part of the iterative process. You know what I mean? This is a part of the building a production level thing. Not that this is ever going to be like a production game, but kind of just understanding the game even a little bit more for just curiosity's sake. So today we're starting with this quote. Lifestyle is a huge factor in determining for which of us get cancer. More than half of the cases, by some calculations, are caused by things that we can do something about: smoking, drinking, and overeating. And the thing that we're going to get to is the Shirky principle, which is a model related to strategy tax named after Clay Shirky. The Shirky principle states that institutions will try to preserve the problem to which they are the solution. So it's like kind of like your fixer for like a drug situation, right? Well, they'll try and stay your drug dealer. An illustrative example is TurboTax, a US company that makes filing taxes easier, but actively lobbies against ideas that would make it easier to file taxes with the government. So, again, I think before we even get started, I'm going to highlight some things in the end quote that I think could get us from this to this. So, I think that lifestyle, obviously, uh, like the subjects, cancer, uh, calculations, kind of, but I think excess definitely. And I think in the end, we have strategy tax for taxes. I don't think we'll ever be able to find Clay Shirky because I don't know. I guess we could do like economics and then maybe from economics hop to Clay Shirky. Um, US company. This seems like something we could jump from. I think that I remember reading a book about cancer that had uh stuff about lobbying the government in like the 1950s and 60s to like make it a more TV palatable kind of disease, where before it was really uh, not. And a lot of people kind of didn't treat it as one, but as people started living longer and cancer became the main cause of people's deaths. But I don't know if that's in here because I'm pretty sure that I got that through an audiobook. But I guess we'll find out. Um, and then the US company and the government, right? So these are the things that I think that I'll be able to jump from. Somehow I can get from lifestyle to Americans, and then I have a lot of stuff on the US, so that's like probably not a good jump. I think I want to get to taxes, and if I can get to taxes and have something about strategy in the same quote, I should be able to get to this one. So let's just get started by copying this bad boy and use it for our first query. Okay, let me get rid of some of the highlighting that I did. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Well, okay, let me get rid of it. Hold on. I got this. I'm going to make a copy of this, paste it here, and then get rid of the highlights that I just made. Comma. Okay, cool. All right. We're off to the races. So obviously this matched again at 95%. It's always really interesting to see how it's not 100% match for the exact same quote. But I think again, this is because semantic search doesn't have the same. It's not like comparing like letter by letter. It's comparing vectors, and I think that cosine similarity, like the equation, has something different that it takes into account. So anyway, we have it's important to distinguish between probability and destiny. Just because you're obese does not mean you are doomed to die before your time. Okay, so we have being healthy, we have cardiovascular disease, we have regular exercise, lifespan, and then half the men over 60 and three quarters have prostate cancer. In fact, it's been suggested that if all men lived long enough, they would get prostate cancer. That's pretty crazy. So, what's our best jump here? We could stick with the cancer thing by doing prostate cancer. We could jump to exercise. I think if we kind of can get to US policy on health insurance, we should be able to get to taxes. Um, and then lifestyle. I think, okay, so I think that I'm going to do this one. I'm going to jump from this one and I'm going to say, um, probability and destiny. Um, okay, so maybe I can take this and then take this, and then I can ask a question like, what percent of people don't have a bad lifespan? Or maybe what percent of people burden their body and still live a long time? Or maybe what percent of people what percent of people um get ill? Yeah, let's do that. What percent of people gets ill? I guess the idea is that, again, I kind of wanted to talk about health insurance. The most physically fit men and women have mortalities about one third to one fourth to those who are least fit. Okay, the need to be vaccinated for a given disease for herd immunity threshold is about 95%. Okay, so we can do vaccination rate in a community because that's usually going to be public health, and public health will get us to government. About one fifth of deaths are sudden, but the protracted are 60. Most of the results are death are from protracted decline. We live long lives and we die long deaths. Oh, here we go. Nearly a third of Americans. Okay, so let's get rid of this guy. I wonder if I could just do the same thing. No, I can't. um. Okay, so nearly a third of Americans who die after 65 will have spent time in an intensive care unit of their final life. That's pretty crazy. Um, so let's say how many Americans are in the healthcare system because we have intensive care unit. How many Americans are in the healthcare system at any given time? Okay, 30% of America's doctors are immigrants. Oh, here we go. High quality of American hospitals and healthcare generally. The US just comes in 31st in global rankings of life expectancy, behind Chile, Costa Rica, and just ahead of Cuba and Albania. Americans lead more unhealthy lifestyle than most other people, and that's true at all levels of society. In 1970, the US responded to a shortage of medical practitioners by bringing in a large number of Indian doctors and pharmacists. So I think I'm going to do how much this the spending. Yet, despite generous spending, and we're going to do uh, quality of American hospitals and healthcare. So how much does the US spend on healthcare? How much does the US spend on healthcare? Okay, each year the US population spends more money on diets than the amount of needed to feed all hungry people in the world. Why do patients spend so much on medical care? People consume way too much medicine, well beyond what's useful for staying healthy. Free healthcare consume a lot more medicine relative to an unsubsidized, but don't end up noticeably healthier. Okay, and that's the same quote that we got above. So maybe like how much do individuals spend on healthcare? Um, I wanted to see if I can get it like to be a percentage of people's salaries, and then maybe I can just get to finances. How much do US citizens spend of their paycheck, of their salary on health care? It's the same quote. This is also the same quote. Okay, US citizens should be asking. Okay, so okay, maybe we can. This is kind of a leap, but if we take U.S. citizens spend as capitalists, maybe like we can just say what makes up a capitalist country. Maybe we can jump to capitalism from here, from healthcare spending. What is the definition of a capitalist economy? Okay, this is really long. We got self-sufficiency, hard work. The private sector works better than the public sector. Being productive is getting what one deserves. Um, Producing opportunity. Most profit is suboptimal. So, do we have anything about taxes here or economics? Um, Dividing the pie. Okay, so we do have a capitalist economic system. So that looks pretty good. I might take this. I could probably be more cheeky, but this quote is really long. So I'm thinking that if I take other stuff, it'll get kind of confused. Capitalism has gotten hip to the fact that of our talk of an information economy, what we really have is an attentional economy, if the term economy applies to what is scarce. Interesting. Our society is a predominantly, so they all have economy in them. So maybe I can just choose which one fits my goals best here. Um, which is good. That's a good definite direction to go. Our society is predominantly an exchange economy. This is a sophisticated adaptation to scarcity, which scales well. Allocations of scarce goods is done in a decentralized way through voluntary cooperation. Um, so we don't have really thinking anything about like economies and tax or economies and like the US government directly. Hmm. Okay, so let's do this. Because I feel like if the economy is scarcity, then I can do what does scarcity mean in an economy of wealth? Because if I can get it to talk about debt, then I think I can talk about taxes. Scarcity and ubiquity can both matter depending on context. A society that exalts wealth and avoids the love of scarcity, unconscious. Okay. Wealth decline is equal to power decline. Those who spend modestly have a surplus are more sustainably successful than those who earn a lot more and have deficits. Okay, here we go. When an individual spends more than what they earn, misery and turbulence are ahead. Okay. So maybe what why do individuals spend more than they make? Okay. Higher income households spend a smaller percentage of their income than lower income households. Spend it on luxuries. Decadent spending reduces productivity. Okay, I think maybe I should actually go back here and then say organization instead of individuals. So I think I'm gonna undo this move here and just do it with organizations. Okay. Many people, companies that look rich even when they're in the process of going broke. Income that are below their expenses or liabilities. Still nothing about taxes, surprisingly. Like not even a single mention of tax. We saw that one before. Because the spending continues to appear strong. Okay, what are in who invests in infrastructure should be governments, and that should take us to taxes. Not really a strategy tax, but I think that makes more sense than the other route that I'm thinking, which is that like companies spend more money than they have, which puts them in financial trouble. Because this isn't really about financial trouble. This is about like preservation. I guess how can companies be successful over the long run? Yeah, we could do that. Let's try that. Oops. So say do companies, what tactics do organizations use to say, do organizations use to be successful in the long run? Tactics are a lot easier than strategy. Okay, we found strategy, but it's just strategy. Uh, Dominate a specific niche and then make it part of their founding narrative. Healthy flywheels. Avoid. Oh no, here we go. Here we go. Strategy taxes. Okay, yeah. I think we're gonna get there, like in pretty much one or two moves. What are strategy taxes? Um, so there's nothing about companies in this quotes, but we can say what are strategy taxes, and that's fine. Oh, here we go. We did it. We made it. Sweet victory. That line was way shorter than the line yesterday. That took me 55 minutes. This one took me 22. So literally half the time. I think the difference was that this time I was allowing myself to search things instead of like use exact word for word matches um that came out of, and even then I still needed to occasionally ask a question to like break out. But I think it like having the highlights and then kind of like asking the question from them makes sense to me. Okay, so we started out with the line of talking about um what percentage of people get ill. My thought process here was that if we can get to understanding how many people get ill early, we could get to health insurance. And then from here, we said a third of Americans, which is like US, will spend in the final months of life, which is the healthcare system. So then from there, we said the generous spending of healthcare in America. So we asked how much does the US spend on healthcare? And then we said, okay, how much do individuals spend of their salary on healthcare, looking for like taxes? And then from here, it didn't really work out. So we went back to capitalism. And then from capitalism, we went to economy and scarcity. Uh, and then from here, I spelled economy terribly. Economoi of wealth. And then from here, we did uh, organizations spending more than what they earn. And then from here, we talked about what makes tactics of organization successful in the long run. And then we got strategy taxes, and then strategy taxes gave us our answer. So that's sick. That's awesome. I think that that feels really good. And we can jump to the next one now, too. So let me copy this into a new file, and then we'll just do it. First run. No cap. Okay, so one more, and then I'll get out of here. So this is where we're starting.